No one cares about your life. I'm not the interesting thing. My knowledge is.
What are like 2 or 3 things that you think unsuccessful people say a lot that you hear?
Do I really have to post this much on social media? I don't look good. I'm worried that people are going to think that I'm an imposter. The mistake that a lot of people make when they go online or when they're posting on social media is they think that they're socializing. I always tell people, you never know. Like, just go for your dream, because even if you don't have the money now, it's going to materialize if you just focus on it and you just put the intention out into the universe. The universe works in energy. You know that you are a good yoga teacher. Whatever it is your thing is, you know you're good at that. Stop saying that. What your real problem is.
Hey everybody, welcome back to ClickFunnels Radio. I'm Chris Cameron. I was not able to be there for this one, but Dante sat down with somebody that you really need to hear from. Our guest is Angelica Govaert. She's a yoga teacher turned studio owner and online educator and ClickFunnels Inner Circle member. Angelica went from getting laid off, living in her car with her dog, to opening her first yoga studio with poker winnings. The studio became the largest in Nevada. She launched nonprofits for trauma recovery and at-risk youth. Then she took everything online, built it all out in ClickFunnels, and now she helps other yoga teachers do the same thing. Her funnels convert at 4 to 7%, and she hit the Dream Car and 2 Comma Club Award. And let me tell you, she's got zero patience for excuses. Dante and Angelica go deep in on this one, so let's get into it.
Angelica Govaert, so good to have you on the podcast here today. Welcome, welcome, and welcome to Canton. We flew you into the little podcast studio. So exciting. Look, we were talking a lot off camera. You told me a lot about your story, but let's just do it really quick because I want the listeners to hear exactly what you've gone through to get you to where you are here today.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your story.
So I have been practicing yoga since I was 11 years old. I have been teaching yoga for 25 years. I've owned 3 yoga studios, and I've taught yoga all over the world. I've hosted retreats, teacher trainings, whatever. And it was really my dream to teach yoga. But I was like everyone else. My family told me that I needed to get a job so that I could get health insurance, so I could get a retirement fund and all that. So I did that. I did the square peg, square hole thing. I went to college and I got 2 bachelor's degrees and decided, to go back into retail. So I was working as a retail district manager for a company called L'Occitane. They do like shower bath, bubble bath, body lotion, really like high-end stuff. And I did really like that job, and I was really good at it. I'm a very good salesperson. I enjoy selling people what we call sales that wear well. There's a guy named Harry Friedman, and he wrote a book called No Thanks, I'm Just Looking. And it's about how people come into a store and they just immediately go, no, thanks, I'm just looking. And you'll be like, I just said hello,
Yeah.
So you have to break down customer assistance. And I found when I could do that, I could really speak to my customer and I could find them what they really wanted, so that they could have like a bubble bath, even though it's like a $32 bubble bath, but like something that they enjoyed, and they went home and they had a sale that wore well and they liked it, right? So that's kind of been my philosophy my whole life, is to just service first, like help the person. If you help the customer, they'll be happier. So I'm working for L'Occitane, and I've got a big district with them. I'm running 22 stores across 6 states. I have 1,500 employees. I'm running a $20 million business for them. And I'm telling myself that doing this, even though it's not my dream to own my own business, but doing this is I'm helping these other women who I'm managing have a good place of employment, right? That I'm being of service to them, because I always have been the kind of person that just wanted to help other people. Well, 2008 comes, right? And in 2008, there's a big market crash.
Yep.
And after being the star at L'Occitane and just like always having the best sales and the best team, I get laid off. And I was devastated. And because I had been living paycheck to paycheck, just even though I was making good money, I didn't understand how to manage money. I didn't understand that, I thought, well, it's just going to come with the next paycheck, right? Like I depended on that, right? Which is also a big reason why I work for myself. But so I lost everything, and I had saved up a lot of money, but I couldn't get a job. I don't know if you remember 2008.
Oh yeah.
It was hard. And I even like Lululemon wouldn't hire me, even though I had like all this, they were like, we can't hire you to be a salesperson because you have too much experience. You're just going to leave. And I'm like, I need to pay my bills, So,
I promise I'll stay.
Right. So, I end up losing everything. And it's actually a really dark story. And I've shared it on my podcast before. the Yoga Celebrity podcast, but I'm not going to share it here because it's pretty sad. But I went through a real dark night of the soul and decided, like, after I lost everything, I moved into my car. I had nothing left, and I was like, you know what? They can't take any more from me. Like I don't have what I wanted to have in life, and I'm disappointed, but I'm going to go for my dream. I'm going to go for my dream because I can't lose any more now. So I might as well go for my dream. So I packed up everything in my car. We left Miami, me and my dog, and we drove across the country to Las Vegas, where I was like, I want to open a yoga studio in Las Vegas and call it Sin City Yoga. And I want to do this, right? So I called it Sin City Yoga because the only .com I could get, right? Back then, you know, like you had to get the .com.
Yep.
So I go to Las Vegas. I don't have the money to open a yoga studio, obviously, right? Like I got $12,000 left from my 401k. That's what I'm living on, right? So I'm teaching yoga at like all these gyms all over Las Vegas and building up a following. And I started doing private sessions with professional poker players, like some of the people that you've seen on TV. And and I was like, oh, this is cool, you know. And I'm like doing like in the big high rises in Vegas and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
it was awesome. It
How
was awesome.
interesting.
I did the World Series of Poker and like taught like yoga there, and it was really neat. And it was a fun time. Like Vegas is a really fun place. So I asked these guys one day, I was like, how is it that you're making money playing poker? Like, tell me about this. So they start teaching me how they play poker. So I'm understanding from the mind of somebody that plays like millions of dollars of poker how to play the game. But I'm not playing that. I'm playing like a 1-3 game where you buy in for like $300, you know, down at MGM. So I go down to the MGM, I play this 1-3 game and I win. And I'm like, hey, this is a way I can pay my rent, right? Because no one will hire me and I'm not making enough money as a yoga teacher. When you're a yoga teacher, you're driving all over town, you're making like $20 a class, going from place to place. It's just not enough to pay your rent. And back then, my rent was only $345 a month. So,
We love
you know,
that.
right? Like that was, back then it was good. So I started to play poker to pay my bills. Well, I'm telling everybody, because like when you have a dream, you need to share it with the world. And
Yeah.
I don't like this whole thing where people are like, don't tell people your dreams work in silence. No, people can help you. People can help you. And if somebody's going to poo-poo on your dream, well, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's your dream. Go for it. Go for it. Like you live one life. You know, like I've always looked at things and been like, when I get to the end of my life, am I going to wish that I did this? And that's the decision that makes me say yes or no. So I was like, I'm going for this. I'm telling everybody. I want to open a yoga studio. I want to open a yoga studio. I'm telling everybody, right? So I get this Groupon to get an eyebrow wax. And I go and I'm getting my eyebrow waxed at this place. This lady's like, it's inside of a house where they've made it into all these little businesses.
Sure.
And I was like, telling her I want to open a yoga studio, right? And I've like looked at all these locations. It's so expensive. It's like $5,000 a month and cams and all this, you know, and all these like triple net lease. And I'm like, what is all this? Oh, you know, I don't have this money, right? But this garage had been converted for a Pilates mat studio, but they weren't using it. They were just using it to store stuff. And this lady that I told while she was waxing my eyebrows, she's like, they have this studio. They're not really using it. It's $400 a month. Maybe you could rent it. And I was like, I can, but I don't have any money. But again, I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm going to go for my dream. So I signed the lease anyway, because I was like, hey, it doesn't matter. Even if I can't get together the clients to come to the studio, what's she going to take from me? There's nothing to take. I've already declared bankruptcy, you know, like I have nothing. I lost all my stuff. There's nothing to take from me. So but I knew that I had been teaching around town and that I was going to, you know, had a plan to have an opening, like a sale before opening for memberships and all kinds of stuff. I had this plan. But I still really needed money to like paint it and buy props and get everything together. So I'd been playing poker to pay my bills. So that night I go down to the Wynn casino, good old Steve Wynn, and it's actually my favorite place to play poker. So I go down and I buy in for my $300. I made it up to $600, right? Which I'm a very conservative player at that time. I didn't, you know, I needed to pay my bills, right? So I'm only playing like the top hands, you know, like ace, ace, king, king, queen, you know, like the top 10 hands, right? So I get involved in this hand that was like kind of out of the scope of what I normally play. And I had a gut shot straight. So I flop the nuts. a straight, right?
Yeah,
and
great.
it's really hidden because it's a gut shot, right? So like you're not seeing this on the board all the other players. So I raise, and I had been the pre-flop raiser, so it made sense for me to raise. And then I'm just playing on autopilot, right? Like this is the math, and the next guy he re-raises, and I was like, what can he have? I have the nuts. Like, what could he have? And then the next guy goes all in, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose all my money today. Like, I have to go all in because statistically, no one can beat me at this time. I would not be a good poker player if I folded, right? You can't play with scared money. Poker taught me so much about life. Right? You can't play anything with scared money.
Yep.
And when you see a hand that's a winning hand, you have to go for it.
Yep.
You have to, it's just like having an offer in a funnel. When you see that your offer is doing well, you have to go for it. And you can't play with scared money. If you're afraid to spend $97 a month to build your business, you can't play with that. You cannot be afraid. You have to believe in yourself.
And I love that you just said that because we've only been talking, 5 minutes here, and I've already heard a lot of go, a lot of do, a lot of action taking, not like living in an indecision prison of like, oh, I'll probably do this at this time and I might do it this way. You said I have this thing I want to do and I'm going to go for it. I'm going to tell people about it and I'm going to do.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes. So needless to say, goes all the way around. All 9 people sitting at the table go all in. I'm like, oh my gosh. Comes back to me. The turn comes out. The flop comes out. There was a flush draw, a set, like 2 pair, whatever. I win $6,000.
Wow.
This is exactly what I need to start my yoga studio.
That's like almost the whole year's rent, it seems. Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, all right, good. I'm good. So I start my yoga studio. I sold 30 early memberships, and we're in the garage. And anybody who went to the garage studio, like, we have such good memories of it. It's like the come up, like when you're building something and the momentum's happening. Well, it gets to the point where there's so many people coming in the studio that like people are in the garage, like in the driveway. Because we don't have enough space inside of a 2-car garage to have people. We opened 2 nonprofits from that space. That we had one that helped at-risk youth that did yoga in foster care, yoga in the juvenile detention center. We opened trauma recovery yoga, which is still today, still runs. Trauma recovery yoga runs with my friend Joyce Bozen. And we helped people who have experienced extreme trauma. So like after the shooting in Las Vegas, we had yoga classes for free for people. We've worked with veterans. Like so many good things came out of the garage.
It's beautiful.
So, but the garage, you're growing, and you can't be afraid of growth. If you own a business, it's always changing, right? And you have to lean into those changes, and you have to be like, all right, well, it's the next thing. So even though I felt really comfortable in the garage and I was making good money in the garage, I knew that I was meant for more, and I knew that I could help more people. So I decide to open this 6,000 square foot studio. I go to this spot on Main Street, Las Vegas, about a block off of the world famous Las Vegas Strip.
Okay.
There's all these like abandoned buildings, but my friend had opened a craft cocktail bar across the street, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this. I'm going to rebuild this myself. I did it all in cash. I had $30,000 in cash that I'd saved up. Me and my assistant laid the floor. I was like, well, if some man can do it, we'll watch a YouTube. We can do it too. So he did. The only thing I didn't do is the electric work because I don't know that.
I'm a man and I wouldn't do the electric work anyway.
Right. So we built this whole studio, builds out. It's growing. It's getting bigger. I become the biggest yoga studio in the state of Nevada. I have the most well-known yoga teacher training in the Southwest area. And I'm growing, but I get stalled and I'm like, I don't know how to grow more. But I also at the same time start to have this feeling of being stuck. Like I have 150 teachers, 50,000 clients, and I'm trapped to this business. And there's all this noise that's happening. Like somebody stole my list and we had to send a cease and desist. And it's like all of a sudden I'm running a business and I'm not enjoying it anymore. I'm not able to teach classes. I'm not working with people. And I was like, I want something more. And I think one thing that people think is when you have a dream that you have to live that dream forever. And you can't get to a point where your dream changes. And that's sometimes like people are like, you're not being grateful. Well, I am grateful for that, but it wasn't my time for that anymore. I needed to make a change and a shift, but I didn't know what it was. So I got this ad on Facebook for this thing called Denix GrowthCon. And I was like, what is this? I don't know. I've never been in anything like that. So I buy this ticket up in the nosebleeds, like way up in the top of the bleachers. And I'm watching all these people come out and talk about different business ideas. And these people are like people that I never had heard of before, like Andy Frisella and Tim Grover and Ezra Firestone. And I'm listening to them and I'm really inspired by it. And I realize that all this stuff could help me in my business. But then this one man comes out and he gives this presentation on sales funnels, and his name's Russell Brunson. And I was like, this is my thing. And I watch him. I still remember, this was 2018. I remember to this day, like him building the funnel on stage, launching it live, driving traffic to it, and getting sales on stage. And I was like, whoa. And I knew, because I was a business owner, I knew that he was driving traffic to it. It wasn't just that he built the funnel and it made sales. Like he understood the mechanics of an offer and traffic. Like you need both of those things. So I was like, okay, because I had an offer at the yoga studio, but I had more traffic when I moved to Main Street. So my business exploded, right? So it's the same thing with the funnel. Your funnel's like your little, it's like, it's cheaper than rent, right? Like at least I don't have to pay it's even less than my $400 a month, right? So, so I decided that day, watching Russell speak, that I'm going to go back. I'm going to sell my studio. I'm going to take it online because that is the future, and I'm going to do that.
Nice.
So I'm like, all right. I go back. I find people who go to my studio who are teachers there that are financially qualified, and I talk to them, and they buy the studio from me. And so, one of the things that I learned in retail is that you need to have someone who can ascend to the next level so that you can ascend to the next level. So I'd been cultivating people that might be interested in buying the studio. So they did buy the studio. They still own it today. You can still go to Sin City Yoga in Las Vegas today. If you're in Vegas, you can go there. I don't own it anymore, but the people are very nice, and you can still take classes. It's still there. It looks exactly almost like it did when I owned it. So, so I sold my studio, but instead of going online, I bought a sailboat, and we traveled all over because I had, I sold it for like multiple six figures, and I was like, great, I have money now, right? To me, that seemed like a lot of money at the time. And that money ran out pretty fast if you ever owned a boat before.
I do. And you know what they say about boats? Bust out another 1,000. Yep.
Yeah. So a boat is a hole in the water that you throw money into. So I run out of money. I mean, it took some time. And I knew I didn't want to own another studio because I didn't want to be trapped in that. And I knew I didn't want to drive around town for $20 a class. That wasn't enough. So in the meantime, I'm waiting tables at Bubba Gump Shrimp on the Kemba Boardwalk in Texas, where our boat was. And I'm like, this is not the way either. I'm like in my late 40s, working double shifts. I'm exhausted. And I remembered that guy that I saw at that conference, Russell Brunson, that made the sales funnel. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. So I made my first offer. It was a 200-hour yoga teacher training certification for people who wanted to become yoga teachers, because that's what I did in person. That's what I was really known for at the studio, was having really good trainings that taught other people how to become yoga teachers. So I said, okay, I'm going to make that. So that was my first offer. Then I did a 300-hour yoga teacher training, which is kind of like getting your master's in yoga. It's like that next level after you get your 200. Then I did hands-on adjustments and assists, alignment and cueing, yin yoga certification, like prenatal, restorative, like all these different things. And then I started to teach business of yoga classes, like how to use Instagram as a yoga teacher, and how I made $1 million teaching yoga, right? Because like I made over $1 million at my studio. And most people don't make good money teaching yoga. It's not something that's known for making a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know it is the most lucrative thing you could ever do.
Right, well, it has been for me. So I'm good with that. So what happened is this was, years in, like 3 years now, I'm making money online. The first year was really hard. And I don't think people talk enough about how hard it is in the beginning. The first year I made $24,000, and I really worked very hard, but I also went through this real dark night of the soul where I was like, I'm old, I'm overweight, I'm not as flexible, people are going to judge me, like I don't look like the bendy people on Instagram. But that's actually what made me popular, was that I looked like a normal person, and I was a regular woman doing yoga and sharing yoga, and I have worked with women who never would have stepped into a yoga studio. They would never put their feet into a yoga studio. And because I put myself out there, like somebody in Nebraska took my training that wouldn't have had access to it. You know, I've had women that were in domestic violence situations who were able to take my course online and feel empowered enough to change their life. Like it's actually been, the impact I had in person is tiny compared to the impact I've had online. Like, and now it's even more. So the first year I made $24,000 and I was like, all right, actually, you know what, this might work. So I started to get really serious about posting organically. I started to post every week in my podcast. I started to post every week on YouTube. I started to post 2 to 3 times a day on TikTok and Instagram. And the second year I made $79,000. And then I was like, this is really awesome.
Yeah, you're starting to be like, whoa, wait a minute.
This is going to work out, you know?
Yeah.
So, and it's like almost all profit, right? Because it's online. I don't have all this overhead. When I own the studio, it's like $15,000 a month just to run that thing. So then the third year, I make $151,000. You have to understand, this is all organic, no paid ads. Just like posting and sharing what I'm good at and people being like, this is really cool.
And when you were starting, were you even like doing any crazy sort of posting schedule, or were you just posting as it came to you?
I did put a lot of work into it.
Good.
I had a spreadsheet. I had a schedule of times. I would analyze all of my posts. I would look and I would see like which ones were working, which ones weren't. I read Traffic Secrets, which taught me that I'm a content creator, not a content consumer. You see, the mistake that a lot of people make when they go online or when they're posting on social media is they think that they're socializing, that they should post. They've heard this thing from Gary Vee, post about your life.
Yeah.
No one cares about your life. No one cares about you. No one cares about Kim Kardashian. No one cares about what you had for dinner. No one cares about your dog. People don't even know that I have a husband. A lot of people know about my dog because he's in a lot of my videos, but people don't know like the details of my life. I don't share that because I'm not the interesting thing. My knowledge is.
Yes.
So what I would do is I would make spreadsheets of ideas, and this was before AI. So I had to do it myself.
You had to actually think yourself.
I had to figure it out. But I would watch content, and I would watch content on TikTok and on Instagram, and I would look at it, and if something had me stop, I would look, what was that hook? Why did I stop on that? And if I watched a whole video, why did I watch a whole video? And I would break down the structure of why that was, and then I would try to replicate that for the yoga industry. So I think the mistake people make is that they're like copying what other people are doing in their industry. But I'm looking at everyone. Like, what is Tony Robbins doing? What is Russell Brunson doing? But more importantly, like just everyday people. The inspiration, it's the framework that works.
Yes.
It's not necessarily your topic, right? So that's how I started to really like develop online. And of course, I hired coaches. I didn't figure this all out on my own. I know that if you want to get someplace faster, you do it by hiring someone, which is why I joined Inner Circle, right? Because I wanted to know, I wanted to be closer to Russell. Like, I wanted to know what he was really doing. And it's been an incredible experience, and I have definitely leveled up. I think the main thing about Inner Circle is just being around other people that are like me. Because, if you're wanting to go online, the chances are really good that you're not surrounded by influencers that are like using their phone and posting all the time, especially if you're a woman in your 50s. The chances are, which is my target audience, is like women in their 50s that want to share yoga with the world, right? And I mean, we work with all kinds of people.
But your dream customer.
Right, but most of my customers, my average age is like 52-year-old woman. And you're not surrounded by people that think going online and sharing online is normal. And taking it and thinking of it like a business, because that's the other thing too, is you're not just sharing online, you're sharing online strategically. Like, what you're sharing is helping people and it's building your brand. I went to yoga here last night at a local studio here, and they recognized me, and I was like, this is nuts. Like, this is totally crazy. I'm was not expecting that. And I just wanted to go to yoga because I'd been traveling, whatever. I like yoga, right? That's my thing. And it was super cool. And she was like, "You're the business of yoga woman." And I was like, "Yeah, I am." It was the glasses, they always recognize the glasses. So, that's another thing too, like having something distinctive that sticks out. I was just like a regular person on the internet making videos. But when my coach kind of taught me that, like what can you have that's distinctive? And it just happened by accident. A lot of stuff is luck, but it's taking advantage of that luck. So as soon as I realized that the glasses were what was making people notice me, I bought 10 pairs of like really funky glasses. So I have all these like crazy glasses that I wear because they're like, "Oh, it's the yoga lady with the glasses."
So what I'm hearing you say right there, Angelica, again, you're an action taker. That seems to be like so far the tone of what you've done. So you got a coach. You said, "I'm going to do this and I'm going to go all in." You got a coach who's already done there, been there, can help you fast track that path. Your coach says, "Hey, I need you to do this thing. We're going to try and find something that we can use to help you stand out." And you did that. You didn't say, "Great, I'll do it next week." You didn't say, "That's an awesome idea. Let me think about that." You went and did the thing.
Yeah. And he was great too because he just really called me out. So I signed up with him and he was like, "I want you to do 3 videos a day on TikTok." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm in it. I'll do it." And then we were moving. And it was Thanksgiving weekend when I had signed up with him. And he goes, I see that you said you were going to post 3 times a day on TikTok and you didn't. And I was like, "Well, we were moving. It's Thanksgiving weekend." He's like, "I don't care."
Mm-hmm.
And it hit me that like, that's what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it takes is that it's the same as like my career when I worked for L'Occitane. Like it didn't matter if it was the day after Christmas. I was in there at 6 a.m. doing markdowns.
Yep.
That's what it takes. And it takes more than that. When you own your own business, you have to be really invested in it, especially if it's online. There's a ton of noise online. There's a ton of people that are fighting for customers. But I will tell you this, there's not a ton of people who are consistent.
Yep.
There's not a ton of people that last for years. It is a game of staying in the game.
It is a game of staying in the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
And getting better, not just putting slop out there, but like really like I had a spreadsheet where I would log every single video. And people get way too emotional about this because I work with yoga teachers. I teach them how to create their online business. I call it creating your online empire. And I teach them all the fundamentals of organic marketing, paid advertising, having an offer, having a sales funnel. We provide them with the sales funnel template, everything, right? And we help them create their offer. And we teach them how to drive traffic because you need an offer and you need traffic, right? You need those 2 things. You need a level 10 offer, you need a great offer, and you need traffic. So that's what I teach them to do. And a lot of times they'll get frustrated. "Well, I'm not getting views." Okay, I want you to think about it this way, all right? Like, think about 200 people saw your video, okay? How many people came to your yoga class last night? 3, 10, 20 at the most?
Mm-hmm.
A great class is going to have 25. 200 people saw your video. That's 8 times more people than in your best yoga class, Now, let's talk about if you're consistent and you notice like what hooks work and you work down the method, right? And you're posting 2 to 3 times a day because your competitor is, right? Like if you're like, "Well, I don't want to bother people," that's fine. I will. People can't get enough of me. I couldn't post enough to satisfy what people want from me, to be totally honest. So you can't post enough. Anyhow, so let's say you get to the point where you move up in the algorithm, because the way algorithms work is like you have a breakout video and then it kind of pushes you up to the next one. So now you're like getting 500 to 600 views and then you post a lot, like 25, 30, 40, 100 videos, and then it pushes you to a new level. Now you get another breakout, right? And you're going to go to a new level. Well, let's say you're up to where sometimes you're getting like 10,000 views on a video.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I was at a concert, Christopher Cross.
Yeah.
Sailing takes me away to where that guy, right? So I'm at this concert at the Pearl in Las Vegas at the Palms, and I'm looking at all the people in the audience, and I count how many people are there, and I'm counting the rows, how many people, do the math. There's about 5,000 people there. And it hits me on any given day, more than 5,000 people see my content on a video, it might be one video, but on the cumulative of all the videos I've made, on all the YouTubes, on all the Instagram Reels, and all the TikToks, way more people are seeing me every day than came to a man who is super famous for many, many years. But like all my life, Christopher Cross has been famous, you know? More people watched my videos than came to his concert. And it hit me the power of being online and reaching people. So when you only get 5,000 views and you're like, that's it, you know, or you only get 500 views, you need to think about really how many people that is. If they were all standing in a room with you, that's a lot of people. You don't need a big audience to be successful online. Some of my most successful clients of all time have less than 2,000 followers. They had less than 1,000 when they started with me. You need an audience that knows, likes, and trusts you because you share high quality information with them. You don't share what you had for dinner. You don't frame everything as I, you frame it as you.
You, yes.
Right?
Yes.
You're going to feel better in your lower back if you do this pose. Not, I felt better in my low back when I did this pose. You know, it's all about them. You need to think of it as service to other people. Like people will say to me, well, your stuff costs a lot of money to work with you. Well, yeah, it does. I have put a lot of time into this. What I do works. I'm effective at it. I don't work for free. I'm not teaching you to work for free either. That's a bad model. Please don't do it, you know? But my content's all for free. And if you watched all my content, you would get a ton of great information. We drop lots of good info on our podcast. We talk for hours about how you can build your business. We have a free Facebook group. Like I don't feel bad ever about being paid well for what I do because my content is my service to people who can't afford to work with me. And the other thing is that you have to understand, we've been taught not to invest in ourselves. We've been taught the Dave Ramsey like philosophy, like don't go into debt, right? But did you know how credit really came about? Or do you know, Dante?
Tell me.
Okay, so in the early 1900s, the credit people who wanted to be entrepreneurs to build businesses, they had no way to do that. So credit came about as a way to help entrepreneurs build their businesses. And that's how people could do the railroads, could do the mines, could build their, Williams-Sonoma. That's how Williams-Sonoma came about. They were just a small mercantile store in San Francisco. And now it's like this big brand, right? That all came from credit. See, what I didn't realize when I owned my yoga studio, remember how I told you that I paid for everything in cash? Yes. Well, I was so afraid to take a loan, so I would save up all the money. And that's what had stopped me from growing beyond the $250,000 a year range because I was so afraid of taking on debt. It's all right to take a little bit of debt to get where you want to go. When I started my online business, I opened an interest-free credit card and I paid for my first coach. It was $15,000 on that interest-free credit card. Within the first year, I was driven to make the money to pay that back. And I made $24,000 and I was able to pay it off, right? We need to start thinking about how do you think at a higher level?
Yes.
Right? So if investing in a coach is going to be $10,000 or $20,000, if paying a platform, like when I signed up for ClickFunnels, I was like, okay, this is my dream. This is what I want to do. I'm going to sign up for a year because I like a deal, okay? I'm frugal. So I was like, I'm going to get my 2 months for free. But what I really did was set the intention that I'm going to try as hard as I can for 1 year. I'm going to focus really, really hard for 1 year. And I'm going to see what happens if I can make it. And if I can't make it, well, I've spent $997.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Right.
But at least I tried, right? And, obviously the rest is history. We're sitting here today. This is insane. I can't believe I went from looking at Russell Brunson on a stage to sitting here with you today. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that this is my life. Thank God I worked really hard for this and I took every advantage, but I know that I'm blessed and I'm very grateful for it.
100%. But you're a doer. You went, you didn't stop. And I just love that about you. That's something I see with so many people that it's so much theorizing. It's so much in our head. And there's so much fear. You didn't let any of that stop you. That's what a true entrepreneur should be. So take me back to Bubba Gump. You got your boat. It's in the marina. You're working doubles at Bubba Gump. Let's keep going from there. This is such an interesting story.
Yeah. So I made my first offer, and I didn't have a studio to film in. A lot of people would be like, well, I don't have any place to film.
Yep.
Whatever. I filmed on the dock at the marina. I didn't even care. I rented somebody's studio to film like my first videos. I did a joint venture with High Carb Hannah, and she's like a popular YouTuber, and I did the yoga classes for her YouTube for her community. And she does this community, she called it the monthly menu, and she would like put out a menu every month. And I did a joint venture with her. I just rented somebody else's studio to film that, and that's how I got started. So I just think that you can get started by just using what you have. You just have to be creative. At some point my business got too big that I couldn't run it from the boat anymore, and we had to get an apartment, our house. We rented a house back in Vegas. We moved back to Vegas. And but this year we bought a house.
Nice. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah. But here's the real, and I'm not trying to brag, but I paid off a third of that house in 1 year.
It's amazing.
Yeah, from my online stuff.
How much freedom does that make you feel?
Oh my gosh, how amazing is that?
We go from feeling constrained, cash dependent, right?
Yeah.
To actually having freedom with that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing that like nobody understands. Like I teach yoga, right? And I like yoga and I'm passionate about yoga. I always tell people like pick a niche that you could, if the two of us were going to sit down in my Arizona room and have a cup of tea and watch the sunset, what could you talk to me about all night? Right? That's what you should pick. But here's the thing. Whether I sold a course on how to become a yoga teacher, how to do hands-on assist as a yoga teacher, how to do alignment and cueing as a yoga teacher, how to go online as a yoga teacher, right? Like whether I did that or I taught a course about how to repair your F-150, it doesn't matter. It all works in the funnels. Like it does not matter. Like you have an offer, you have a one-time offer after that. Maybe you have some other one-time offers. You have a bump, like all that stuff works. You have a course, and like the way ClickFunnels is outlined is like it's my favorite software. I've done a lot of different softwares. I'm somebody that used to write HTML code. Like I've been a geek on like technology since I was a child, on an Apple IIe, like all that. So, the way ClickFunnels works is that you can have it all in one.
Yep.
Right. And I've had to like Active Campaign connected through Zapier and all, like it's just a nightmare. And it just makes it so seamless now. Like it's just so easy to run an online business. I believe, in my opinion, that creating courses online and creating offers online right now is like the .com boom. When Google happened and everybody was buying like yoga.com and toothbrush.com and microphone.com, whatever, right? Now you can't do that. You can't get those keywords. It's too hard. Like I'm never going to rank for yoga. You're not going to type in yoga and see me, right?
Right.
But I'll rank for business of yoga or, how to open a yoga studio or, like yoga in my name, whatever, right? You can get long tail keywords. But even some of those, it's really hard to get now. But we're like at the precipice, like the beginning of the boom of like online offers and courses. Like this is the time to get in. Do not wait. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting to die? Like that's a thing. Like people will say to me, they'll come on like calls with us to see if they want to work with us or not. And people say, well, now it's just not the right time. It's never going to be the right time.
Yeah.
You're always going to have your kids have this event coming up, or there's just not enough money right now, or you have to work extra, or somebody's sick. Like that's all always happening.
Yep.
It's like when I did 75 hard, I finally just was like, I have to just do 75 hard because I'm never going to be able to get 75 days together that we're not traveling and we're not, there's not a special occasion where cake is involved, like,
yep.
Like you have to just decide to go for it. Like to decide like enough is enough. That is the difference between people who win and people that don't win. That's it. That's the difference.
I would agree.
They go for it.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter what time it is. It's never perfect. There's no perfect time. The people who win are the people who are like, I recognize there's no perfect time, but for me, I can't live the way I'm living anymore. I have to do this. I'm just a person that is relentless. I want to have a really good life. I don't want to go to the end of my life and have wasted it.
Yes.
Like, it must be spectacular. It must be every single moment, every breath that you get is a blessing. My mom died at 61 years old. My uncle, he was only 6 years older than me. He died from colon cancer at 55. Like it's coming for all of us, you know? And when you go to the end, you can't take the money with you. The money's nice. Don't get me wrong. The money is nice. I like money. Okay. I like making money. I like having money. People who tell you like money is like, oh, you shouldn't have it, whatever. You shouldn't like that. Like a lot of people in the yoga industry try to like gaslight you on that. Like, no, that's not true. Like that's a person that's never had money, because having money does make your life easier.
Yep.
Okay. But at the end, you can't take that. So what's going to matter is how did you get there, right? Like, what are the things that you did? How did you help people? I know that the work I do serves people. So women come into my ecosystem, they create offers to share their brand of yoga, whether it's yoga for hot flashes or yoga for different communities, yoga for people with back pain, yoga for office workers, like whatever it is that they're working on, you know, like trauma-informed yoga. I just had somebody launch a trauma-informed yoga course. It did really well. That's huge. But the cool thing is that she launched that course. She helps all those people. She makes money. She gets to help more people. But because I stood up and was like, I'm going to do this thing, now I'm actually helping people that I'll never meet because I help them through her, right? Like it grows and it grows and grows. And that's where you want to go to your deathbed being like, I did those things.
Yes.
I helped make the world better. 100 years from now, I think that social media, if it exists in any form, whatever, will be better in yoga because I made it that way, because I developed a group of people who are sharing what yoga really is and not just sharing gymnastics, right? So
it is the ripple effect.
Yeah.
It's the ripple effect that we all have, whether you want to go through life with money, without money, whatever. You're going to take steps. Every day you are going to take steps. And when you take a step, it's like walking over a shallow pool. Every step you take has a ripple effect, and it's going to reach the end of the pool at some point. How big do you want the ripple to be? How fast do you want it to get to the edge? I really love that you just said that.
Yeah. I think it's really important.
It is.
But that can't be your why.
Yes.
Because that's too shallow. It is true that when you have a certain amount of money, that it will no longer be fulfilling.
Right.
That you'll have all the same problems, you'll just have a lot more money. Right? Now the problems might not be like my tire is flat, whatever. Like I don't need to even handle that. Like that's not a big deal now. Like those are like what we call in the yoga world first chakra problems. You know, like there's the different chakras, and the first chakra is the base of the spine, and it handles like home stability, money, finances. But once you have those, it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Are you familiar with?
Not at all.
No, you don't know Maslow?
No.
Oh my gosh. You got to look that up.
Oh, yeah.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You can't.
We'll put that in show notes.
You can't get to self-actualization until you have hit all of the things that you need in life. Like you must be able to take care of yourself. You must have shelter before you can even start thinking about self-actualization. Like we can't have conversations like we're having today if we were worried about where we're going to live.
Yeah.
Right? If you and I were living in a car, we couldn't be having this conversation, right? We can't be having this conversation about self-actualization. So there's other needs along the way too. Like you have to be able to have like in the chakra system, which mirrors the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you need to have understand love. But I'm not talking about like love in a way of like a partner, but like love and like the world is abundant, right? There's abundance everywhere. We actually don't see that. We don't see that there's abundance everywhere, but I live in the desert. There's abundance of rocks, you know, like, and really there's an abundance of plants. Like people don't see that, but there's like creosote trees all over the place, right? Like you go outside here, there's an abundance of trees. There's a bunch of leaves on those trees. Like abundance is everywhere. We're just not seeing it because we're wrapped up in our own thing, right? So that you have to be able to see that. That's one of the levels of self-actualization, right? And that's one of the levels that that's called the Anahata chakra in yoga, right? So you have to be able to understand your emotions and have emotional intelligence, right? That's part of the path to self-actualization. That's part of the path to Sahasrara, the seventh chakra, right? So like Eastern and Western philosophies kind of coming together with this. And you have to be able to speak. We call it the Vishuddha chakra. It's like your You need to be able to hear and understand and listen, but also be able to speak your truth. And then the Ajna chakra, the third eye, you need to have a level of intuition, right? Like you understand, like kind of you have these gut feelings and you go for it, which is like really what I've lived my whole life on. Like I have these feelings and I'm like, this might work out. That's crazy, but it might, and it does, and sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it doesn't. But when it doesn't work out, you got to just be like, all right, well, next.
Yeah.
And
it's part of being a funnel hacker too, right? And this is why Russell made funnel hackers. You're never going to succeed at every single thing you do. Yeah. You're going to have failures, but don't we learn more from our failures and our mistakes than our successes? Every time.
Yes.
Every time.
Yes.
That's how, as I watch great entrepreneurs, that's how they have success. They say, I'm going to go do, and if it doesn't work out, I'm going to actually learn from it. I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to say, oh, everybody's super mean. Oh, nobody listened to me. No, they're going to be actually honest with themselves. They're going to learn, they're going to grow, and they're going to do again, and then they're going to win.
What have you done to earn them to listen to you? Right? What have you done to earn their views? Like, why should they watch you? Like, wow. That's pretty entitled in my opinion.
Because I made a TikTok. It was really hard for me to make a TikTok, but that's the I mentality, not the service mentality.
Right. Everything has to be of service to others.
Yes.
Right. Like even this podcast being here, like I'm not being paid to do this. Like I'm doing this because I care, because I want, like I'm a great salesperson and I love boats, right? I could go and sell yachts and make money and never talk to anybody. But to me, that doesn't have soul to it. It doesn't make me feel better, right? It doesn't make me help other people. It doesn't make the world a better place, right? So I think that, that's why the service first mentality really works, and it helps so many people. I get really excited about helping people, and just the opportunity that we have to reach the world today is just unprecedented. There's nothing like this.
It's never been easier to reach the world.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And all you have to do is go for it. People are really worried about virality and I want to be viral. No, you don't. I'm telling you right now. Being viral, getting a viral video is like, my friend Lissa, she's Raw Food Romance on Instagram. She's taught me a lot about Instagram. She was my first Instagram coach. She's amazing. And she was like, going viral is a lot like getting a free Tesla with a turd in the backseat, right? Like you're getting this like free car and this is amazing, but there's all these people commenting and saying like terrible things. And what you don't want is to be viral. What you want is to resonate with your audience.
Yes.
So again, it's not, I don't want to have a huge following I don't need a number, right? That's an ego thing, right? I don't need to feed my ego with a number. What I need to do is be effective. I need to see how many comments did that get? How did people resonate with it? How many shares did it get? How many likes did it get? How many retweets or reposts did it get? How many people shared it to their stories, right? Did it hit hard? Like, should I redo that? And here's the secret that nobody really talks about.
Oh, lay it on me.
Is that on social media, once you figure out what works, just do the same thing over and over and over again. The same hooks, give the same information like over and over, because honestly, that's what works. Once you figure out what works, don't try to keep reinventing the wheel. Like you should try new things, but most of your base content, once you figure out what works, just do that.
It's just moss, more of the same. And you're right. We humans, we entrepreneurs, we do always overcomplicate it. It's like, oh, wow, I worked for 3 months. I was posting diligently 3 times a day, 2 times a day, whatever it is. Like I finally got something viral, Oh man, I did this thing for 3 months and now it worked. This is huge. And they're like, great, let me go try and do it a whole different way now. Why?
Just
do moss. Do that more over and over. Yeah. Because cool, you got 10,000 views. It's the biggest thing you've done so far. It's your most viral thing to date. How many people do yoga? Way more than 10,000. You've only hit 0.002% of the market. You have the strategy. You have the framework. Rinse and repeat over and over.
Yeah, I totally agree. We do an event called the Yoga Teachers Go Online event where a lot of people come into our ecosystem from that event. But before that, I did an entire year of webinars. Every Wednesday night and every Thursday morning, I would host a masterclass on how to go online. And I did it all the time until I got it right, until I understood my audience. And then I could grow to the next level, right? People aren't putting in enough time.
Yes.
They're putting in a small period of time, like a few months or a few weeks, or they're making like 10 posts. Girl, it's not going to be in 10 or 15. It's going to be in thousands of videos. It's going to be thousands of videos that's going to help you get where you want to go. You're not going to get there in a couple hundred. You're just not. And people don't actually want perfect. So if you're trying to make your videos perfect, have you read Atomic Habits?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know that part where he talks about the photographers? And he's like, we had two groups of photographers and we told one group to just go out, take as many photos as possible. Don't worry about frame. Don't worry about iOS. Don't worry about lighting. Don't worry about golden hour, nothing like that. Just take as many photos as you can. And then they told another group, they were like, go and take the best photos you possibly can. Focus on where you put the subject. Focus on having a perfect lighting. Focus on having everything perfect. So when the two groups came back, they asked the groups like how many great photos they had. The group that just took as many as they possibly could, like threw the spaghetti at the wall, they had hundreds of fantastic photos. The group that was told to be perfect and set up everything perfectly for the photography, they had none. They had none. So our obsession with perfection is actually what's holding you back. Don't try to be perfect. Just try to throw the spaghetti.
100%.
Yeah.
And I don't blame people for not throwing enough, because so many times online you look and the gurus and the coaches are like, yeah, this was fast. This was easy. There was no real, I just did this thing. I posted a couple times. I got a bunch of views. I went viral and there's my life. It's not really that. That's everybody's got a story, right? That's just what people say. It is so not that. It is dedication. It is commitment. It is time and time and time again getting better and growing.
Yeah. One of the reasons I think I've been very successful online is because I have really taken the contrarian approach to marketing. I don't say to people, you're going to make $1 million online. You're going to make $5,000 to $10,000 a month. You're going to do this. This is all, it's so easy. Like, I'm like, this is hard work. You will probably not make money in the beginning. You're going to have to work really hard to be one of the ones that wins. You will have to invest. We're transparent about how much it costs to work with us. A lot of people are like, you're going to get on a sales call and they're going to like pitch you hard at the end. No, we're like, it's going to cost this much to work with us, before you even come in. Like, we're not lying to anybody. I'm very honest with people. And I think people respect that because there's a lot of people out there that are going to give you a guarantee that no one can guarantee your success. They're not God. They cannot. What they can guarantee is they're going to write a contract that makes it really hard for you to get your money back, right? But there are no guarantees. You have to just go out there and do the best that you can and be the best person that you can and follow your dreams. Follow your dreams. Please just follow your dreams and it will all work out for you. It really will. I don't guarantee it, but I kind of do.
And in you following your why, doing the thing, you've been able to go from losing everything in 2008, which many people did, to living in your car and moving back to Vegas to go do the thing. And what has that unlocked for you? What's that path looked like?
Yeah, I'm so grateful for my life. I'm so grateful to be here today. This is like a dream. This is amazing. I can't believe this is happening. I, went from having a corporate job where I kind of gaslit myself into believing that I was happy, and then God doing what I could not do for myself, which is getting me laid off, getting to the lowest of the low, so that, Tony Robbins always says, like, we won't take action unless we're in pain, right? So I went to the lowest of the low, got in pain, living in my car with my dog. Then, finding an unconventional way to open my first yoga studio, like through poker money. Like, I always tell people, you never know. Like, just go for your dream, because even if you don't have the money now, it's going to materialize if you just focus on it and you put the intention out into the universe. The universe works in energy. It's not, you don't win by being good. You win by putting the energy out there that you deserve and you want, and you have to get what you want, right? Like, it's just the energy you put out. And then owning the studio, growing it to the largest studio in the state of Nevada, and helping all those people, opening the nonprofits, the trauma recovery yoga, and helping the at-risk youth in our city. And then, going online and really like changing the world, and like going to like little towns in the middle of nowhere and having people recognize me is just mind blowing to me. I really feel like I have stepped into my full self of service. Like I'm doing what God wants me to do. I know that sounds really weird, but I believe when I look back at my whole life, I learned how to love yoga and be passionate about something that makes people better in mind, body, and spirit. I learned how to do sales, how to work hard. My first job, I worked at La Rosa's Pizzeria and learned how to make pizzas and work hard, I learned how to do the sale top bottom layering piece accessory at the Limited. I learned how to manage people at L'Occitane. I learned how to run a business when I owned my studio. I've learned how to go online, and all of that so that I could help other yoga teachers with their mission of going online so that they can share what they're passionate about. Like I've been a conduit for God to go through others. And I think that's super beautiful. And I'm so grateful for it. And I'm so grateful for everything that I have in my life. And I wake up every morning like, I can't believe this is my life. But it's all just from following my dreams. And so if you're out there and you're listening to this, I know there's somebody out there that's listening to this and they're thinking, should I follow my dream? And the answer is yes. This is the sign you've been waiting for. This is the sign. Like God sent me here to say this to you. I don't know who you are, but maybe you'll leave a comment and we'll know who you are. But this is the sign, like God sent me here to give you that sign. And now I'm like a ClickFunnels affiliate, and I love ClickFunnels because I love Russell. I love what he stands for. I love Todd. I think that they're like family people that actually are heart-centered first. It's not just a software. It's like a whole movement, right? And it's this to be bootstrapped and bring it to the world, right? So I work with ClickFunnels now. I have a lot of people who have signed up for ClickFunnels underneath of me, and I'm in Russell's Inner Circle, and that's incredible to be around all these people who, I went in and I was like, oh wow, like they're like me, like this is crazy, and I was like, we're all just kind of full of ourselves. We all got a big ego, but then I realized it's not that. It's not that we have a big ego. It's that we're confident. See, for the first time in my life, I was around other confident people. And I realized that what everybody's always been telling me my whole life is just, you shouldn't have that ego. You shouldn't think so much of yourself. That's actually just confidence. I know what I'm doing. I'm good at what I do. I can help people. And the other people in Inner Circle, they're the same. And so what I saw in there was confidence for the first time in my life, and that's a beautiful thing. So
it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Thank you.
You had a really interesting story about how you kind of stumbled into the whole becoming a ClickFunnels affiliate thing. Could you run that through for everybody?
Yeah. So I wasn't really going for like top affiliate, but I'm about to get the dream car. So that's super exciting.
Come on, give me some.
It's going to be a Mercedes.
Yeah, it is.
Anyhow, I structured my course in such a way to help people. I was like, well, this is what worked for me. So ClickFunnels has this thing called frameworks where you can build out a whole framework. You can build out their funnel. You can build out the email automations. You can give them a course framework, website, everything. Like you can set it all up for them. The whole thing,
everything that you use to run your business, you can package and deliver.
You create it as a template, and then you just give them a link. So when people work with me, we go through a series of steps. We like identify their avatar, and then we help to build out their link in bio. We teach them how to do social media, build a sales funnel, all of that. But it's all done through ClickFunnels. So they literally just click the link for what actually worked for me. Like my funnels, they convert at 4 to 7%. And the average funnel converts at 1%. So like having a funnel that converts at 4 to 7%, that's tested, that's proven, that's worked over time, right? So we just give that to them inside of our course, and it's all like built out already in ClickFunnels. So they don't have to do all the setup. They don't have to, the drag and drop feature is really nice and it's easy to use, but they don't even have to do that because I already created it all for them. Yep. I've already written all the emails. Like one of the hardest things for me in the beginning was writing the emails. like the email sequences for abandoned cart and stuff. I was like, what do I say? We've given a template that works for me. And I'm like, just replace this with your words, and AI is great and it's helped me a lot, but I do write a lot of the copy myself because I think people, you should write it from your heart. But we tell them like, this is how you can write it from your heart. And it's all like inside of ClickFunnels, and it's just simple. Like, listen, it has never been easier to own a business. So if you are on the fence, I do not know why, and if you're not a yoga teacher and you're, or Pilates or movement or whatever, we work with, we've worked with tarot card readers, all that stuff. Russell does a very similar thing inside of Prime Mover.
Yeah.
So this is a proven method that works, and it works for a lot of people. Will everybody be successful? No. People get on calls with me. They ask me like, what's your success rate? How many people are successful? I'm like, that's not the question. That's not the question. The question is, are you the kind of person that has the traits that will make you successful?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you what those are right now. Like, if you are a successful person, your questions are, how do I change the font on this style? How do I make this color and this background what I want it to be? How do I write this sales copy more effectively? These are questions that can be answered, that we can help you with in a tactile way, right? If your questions are more like, do I really have to post this much on social media? I don't look good. I'm worried that people are going to think that I'm an imposter. No, that's not imposter syndrome. It's perfectionism. Stop. That I cannot fix what's inside of your head. You have to fix that first. You have to fix what's inside of your head. And those are unsuccessful people. If you're unsuccessful, I would bet you that these are some things that you're saying to yourself,
What are like 2 or 3 things that you think unsuccessful people say a lot that you hear?
Oh man, if I hear imposter syndrome one more time, I swear I'm going to throw that at the wall. I am like that you know that you are a good yoga teacher. You know that you're a good plumber. You know that you're good at fixing cars, right? Like whatever it is your thing is, you're good at that. Stop saying that. What your real problem is perfectionism. You think that you can't put anything out until it looks perfect. But what you don't realize is the reps that make you perfect. It's doing it. Like the first time you ever did a push-up, we call it chaturanga in yoga, right? Like, were you able to do that? No, you had to practice it. Right? You're not like perfect at everything you ever did. Can you just do a handstand right now, Dante?
Negative.
Right? Can you just do a headstand?
Nope.
Right? But I bet if I spent some time with you this afternoon that I could help you do that.
Absolutely.
Right?
I could learn because
right.
I would listen to what you're saying and I would do.
Right. It's practice. It's practice, right? So if you're stuck in these things that you're like, I'm not good enough, there's the other thing is there's already so many people doing it. Well, nobody's you, right? No one can bring your brand of doing it, right? Do you think that ClickFunnels is the only software company out there? No. Is it the best? Yeah. Right? But it's not the best for everyone, but I think it is the best. But there's a lot of room to compete out there. It's and there's people that are falling off every day. There's new people coming in. Like I never worry because I know like in March, like a bunch of yoga teachers are going to get because all the people start getting certified in January for their New Year's resolution. So March comes, a bunch of new yoga teachers are coming out. Like I never worried about getting more clients, like that's just not a thing. Like people are going to want to do, more people are going to want to do yoga. More people are want to do Pilates. More people are going to want to drive fast cars, there's always going to be somebody for you. And I'm not trying to get 1 million clients. I'm trying to get a couple thousand.
Yeah.
And if you think about that, over time, that's really a small portion of the internet. That's
a really small portion.
Right. It's a really, you don't think there's 1,000 people that want what you have? That's crazy talk. Right. So,
but how do you expect them to find it if you never put it out for them to find?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Post. You can't post enough.
Go and do. Take action in your life.
And that costs you nothing.
Yeah.
It costs you nothing.
Oh, we didn't even touch on that, Angelica. It's free.
It's free to post on the internet. For the first 3 years, I didn't pay for one piece of paid advertising. I just posted on the internet. Now I pay a lot of money for paid advertising. But because I posted so much on the internet, my paid advertising is better because I understand what to create that people will like.
Yep.
Right? So it all goes hand in hand. It's all you want to have the horse and the cart, but you're putting the cart before the horse. Like you have to do the steps. And we're talking to Todd about this last night. I was talking about the come up. And like one of the things that's like been frustrating watching my business be sold is that like they'll come up with ideas. And I'm like, I tried that and I already know it doesn't work, you know? And like, if you didn't do the come up, if you didn't do all the steps to get to the top, you don't understand the how to like facilitate fixing problems. And so when you start from the bottom, you work your way up. We build your first funnel and you go and you do those first reels that flop. You've just learned so much from that. You do a YouTube channel that doesn't work out. So then you do another YouTube channel, right? Like you do a TikTok that the algorithm doesn't like. So you just start another TikTok account. Like just make a new email, start a new TikTok account. You're most likely to go viral in your first 10 videos on TikTok. So just get better, right? Like you learn from the come up. So everything that you learn, it accumulates. It like I didn't learn how to be great at paid ads without doing a lot of organic, right? So don't try to be something that you're not yet. Don't compare yourself to Gary Vee. You ain't never going to be Gary Vee, you know, right? Like you're just not going to reach him. So do what you can do and just get your couple thousand of clients and you'll have a ton of money.
A ton. You don't have to be Gary Vee.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be Gary Vee. I'm a woman. I like being a woman.
It's what you touched on earlier, abundance. Far too often, I think we look at things with a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
And there is so much out there.
Yeah.
If we can just grab a crumb, we can live in abundance.
You know what? I want to say something really important to me, like deep in my heart. And one of the reasons I love Russell Brunson is that the people that I look up to in Russell's like world are like Christine Muriel and Rachel Peterson and Eileen Wilder. Like those are my heroes, you know, Sonia, like those people are like, actually Sonia had at Funnel Hacking Live a sign that said turning point on her slide deck. And it was the same exact sign that I had put in the middle of my vision board at my house. And it was like literally the same picture. And I was like, this is a sign. And it was. But anyhow, you can't even say because I'm a fill in the blank woman, whatever. You can't say that you've been held back because of that, because funnel hacking is for everybody.
Yep.
It's for everybody. In Inner Circle, there's all kinds of people. There's all kinds of people, all kinds of nationalities, all kinds of ethnicities, all kinds of genders, whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyone can be successful online. We are at an unprecedented time. If you are not taking advantage of building a funnel and going online and creating things that change the world, you are crazy. This is the time. Now is the time. Don't be waiting. You have no disadvantage. You can be living in your car. You can literally be living in your car. You just need to go to the public library and use their computer, sign into ClickFunnels, and build your dream. You know, don't let anything stop you. Stop listening to the noise of it. Don't be a content consumer. Be a content creator. Stop listening to the noise and start living your dream.
Build for your customer, not yourself.
Yeah.
And you can go from your car to the inner circle.
Right?
I
love
love
that. Oh my gosh,
that.
that's so crazy that I did do that.
Well, Angelica, thank you so much for being here with us today. That was an amazing podcast. So much gold nuggets that I think a lot of our listeners really, really need to hear and see. Everybody really needs to hear and see. So it's been a pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much for the time. I think we might have to do a part 2 sometime.
Oh, I would love it.
You guys could always let us know in the comments. If you want to see part 2 with Angelica, let us know. Say part 2, please. And we would love to have you back out. This is a fun conversation.
Yeah. Well, I got a yoga studio here now. So I got to go to the Ember Hot Yoga.
There we go.
Back,
and after talking to you, I got all fired up. I got videos to go shoot, people to go serve.
Right? Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
All right. See you next time.